And welcome back to my channel. Jacob Payton here, and today I'm going to be going over a very small collection of paperbacks from hell that I recently picked up. I'm pretty excited to go over these. It's definitely the season for it. I know it's been a long time and I'm sorry about that, but I'm trying to get back in the swing of things. You know, life has just been really busy lately. First up, I have The Mist of Avalon by Marion Zimmer Bradley. Oh, sorry, I'm reading the wrong thing. I have The Inheritor by Marion Zimmer Bradley, the author of The Mist of Avalon, which I haven't read, but I have heard about it. And on the back it says, Leslie Barnes, a very unwilling psychic, loves her new house in San Francisco until she learns that something wants it, something that is after her very soul. And it's actually, I'm not gonna lie, I picked this up because of the cover. I mean, it's a really cool looking cover. I definitely thought vampire at first, and then I read it, and obviously it's about psychics, but hopefully it'll still be pretty cool. Next up, I have a really nice copy of The Keep by f.paul Wilson. I've been wanting to read this book for a while. I haven't seen the movie. This is definitely a version that came out after the movie came out, because on the back it shows several pictures of that. And it says, in a remote Romanian castle, the Nazis encounter an evil even more awesome than themselves, and two lovers battle the ultimate horror, awakened from centuries of darkness to feed on living men. Yeah, I'm going to read this and then try to watch the movie. Hopefully it's streaming somewhere, probably Tubi or something like that. Next up, I have Icefire by Robert C. Wilson, which has this pretty neat cover, like a bony hand breaking out of the ice. And on the back, it just says run a bunch. Psychopathic killer, maddened with bloodlust, kept under 24-hour guard in a special prison for the criminally insane on an isolated Great Lakes island. A doctor with a mission who refuses to believe that there are some evils that even science cannot understand or control. A man, a woman, and an 11-year-old boy fleeing across the frozen lakes from a blood-maddened horde unleashed upon an unsuspecting world, fleeing from their lives from the terror of Icefire. So yeah, I don't know if it's going to be a slasher. It sounds, hordes makes it feel like something like zombies or something supernatural. Either way, pretty big book. It's going to be kind of fun to read. Dip into. The next one is a cover I've actually seen a lot, and I think it was in Paperbacks from Hell, and that is Rapture. And it's got that, you know, that really cool font, and then like the knife hand coming out. Yeah, I don't usually go for slasher books, not gonna lie, but like I said, I've just seen this cover so often that I was like, well, let me pick it up and kind of see what the fuss is about. It says, Jeff loves Georgianne. Jeff has always loved Georgianne. Now, years later, Georgianne is as beautiful, as magical as ever, and ripe for terror. Because a love like Jeff's makes a man crazy. He'll do things he'd never have dreamed possible. Even target, stalk, and possibly destroy everyone Georgianne loves. Her faithful husband, her nubile daughter, until Jeff is all she has left. Funny enough, one of the quotes on the back is from the Richmond Times-Dispatch. That's pretty funny. Yeah. Excited to read this. Don't usually read slashers, but that'll be pretty neat. Next up is what I'm imagining is another slasher, and that is Thrill Kill. It says, Mia Jorgensen is a masseuse with a haunting smile and healing hands. Her hilltop house overlooks the pounding Pacific surf. Her mysterious presence feeds the gossip of the small Oregon town where she lives. Yeah, so this is, I'm not going to read this whole thing, but this definitely reads like it's going to be another slasher. It's be pretty interesting. Then next up is a book I haven't heard of, which is Thomas Tryon, The Night of the Moonbow. But it does have this cool like flip cover that shows that like lake scene. So Cabin 7 was supposed to be a lucky one at Camp Friend Indeed, a Bible camp nestled in the piney woods next to Moonbow Lake in rural Connecticut. But it was in 1938, a year notorious for cruelty, unnatural acts, and terror. Cabin 7 was chosen to get the new camper, a mysterious orphan with a talent for music and more interest in collecting spiders than winning at baseball. Yeah, I don't know. But either way, this seems like it's going to be pretty interesting. I love summer camp books. So I don't know what collecting spiders has to do with it, but it's going to be very interesting to find out, that's for sure. The next up is Charles Wilson's Night Watcher. hospital for the criminally insane sees the perfect setting for a murder. After all, there are so many available suspects. But in Davis County, Mississippi, nobody, not the victim, not the detectives, not the suspects, is what they seem. As danger and deceit grow apace, the only eyewitnesses to a horrible crime, a psychopathic mass murderer, begins to unfold his own fearful agenda. So yeah, that looks like it's going to be pretty exciting. I feel like I know the name Charles Wilson, but I haven't read any of his books before, I don't think. So next up is a name I definitely know, and this is Mercedes Lackey's Burning Water. I don't know if it's horror, but it definitely has that like Paperbacks from Hell feel to the cover. It said first it attacked cattle, leaving bloody, mutilated corpses. Now it's going after people, men, women, even children, dozens at a time. The police have few clues, some scraps of leather, a few feathers, scattered flower petals, lots of bodies, and an aurora of unstoppable evil. Detective Mark Valdez feels that evil. He's dealt with the occult before, and he knows he's in over his head, so he calls in a specialist. Diana Tregard, romance novelist, investigator of unnatural events, practicing witch. If anyone can determine what malevolent power is loose in Dallas, she can. So this seems like it might be, oh, it even says it down here, a Diana Tregard investigation. So this might be a little more urban fantasy, but still like the cover, and I really like urban fantasy, so it's a win-win. Next up are two books that aren't actually paperbacks, but still kind of fall in that Paperbacks from Hell, at least like year, and probably have paperback editions out somewhere. And first up is Covenant with the Vampire, The Diaries of the Family Dracul by Jean Calgridis. And that does not have any sort of, yeah. Either way, it's going to be a Dracula book, and I'm very excited about that. I've actually been reading a lot of those lately, and I will review them at some point. And then next up is another book by f.paul Wilson, and that is The Touch. And it does have this really cool cover. Yep. Anyway, I try to read the descriptions, and they're a little harder to find sometimes in hardback books, and sometimes they just dive into a bunch of stuff about the author. But yeah, that's my rather small horror book haul, kind of ending in October. I'm going to try to do these more regularly. I do have some more books that I picked up, and I have a bunch of books I need to review. Like I said, sorry it's taken me so long to get back in the swing of things. I hope you kind of enjoyed that very brief book haul. And yeah, stay tuned. There's going to be more videos coming out. I'll see you guys soon.